Go to standby.
I know I'm hard to love. I can never get enough. But then sometimes you're too much. I'm down then I'm up. I know I'm hard to love. I know I'm hard to please. I'm never happy it seems. But you put my heart at ease when it's crashing like the seas. I know I'm hard to please. But baby, if it were easy, you know that we would be miserable. And maybe I'm completely crazy, but so are you for loving me so long. And baby, if it were easy, baby, if it were easy, it wouldn't be no fun. I know I'm hard to read. It's like I'm missing pages in me. You think you know the next line, then I change my mind. I know I'm hard to read. I know I'm hard to get to know. I wish I could go along, but I barely know myself, babe. We'll do it together day by day. I know I'm hard to get to know. But baby, if it were easy, you know that we would be miserable. And maybe I'm completely crazy, but so are you for loving me so long. And baby, if it were easy, baby, if it were easy, it wouldn't be no fun. Ooh, something about me and you that makes it work like we do. So unpredictable. Oh, nothing like what we got. Girl, you know you never would. Something so typical. You know that we would be miserable. And maybe I'm completely crazy, but so are you for loving me so long. Baby, if it were easy, you know that we would be miserable. And maybe I'm completely crazy, but so are you for loving me so long. And baby, if it were easy, 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 it wouldn't be no fun.
Welcome to the Brittney Richardson podcast, where we talk about issues affecting us every day. And we hear from you, your stories, and how we may improve the world around us. So buckle your seatbelts as we have a no-holds-barred discussion about our world. Now, here's your host, Brittney Richardson.
Hey guys, welcome to On Air Live. I'm so excited to do this. Learning the technical side of open broadcasting software has been a huge challenge, but we have an awesome show tonight. I am so excited to connect with you guys. We will be taking callers here in a little bit. We have a phone number set up. We will have the number on the screen for you. A lot of work has went into this. A lot of money. That's why I'm so tight this week. Actually, the next week or two will be pretty tight financially. But we have Jake. We have Jake, our mic, that has an echo that I have to get over. So yes, tonight, first, I'm going to share with you, we've got an exciting show. It has been getting crazy. If you guys have seen Tiger King and the back and forth that they were dealing with Carol Baskins, if I'm saying that right, and the Tiger King, internet drama, it's everywhere. Like, I have gotten it so bad. And this last week, things got really crazy. You know, I've dealt with threats, and I've stayed quiet about this the whole time. Like, I've kept my mouth shut, better just ignore people, whatever. Until this week, a company stole my footage, used my likeness on camera, which, by the way, guys, I have no problem with you guys sharing my content. Like, share it everywhere. I'm really generous with that. Like, share the post, blah, blah, blah. The problem is, this company, not only, they didn't share my footage, they didn't share ABC's footage, they stole both my footage and ABC's and put it into a commercial with words on the screen making medical claims. Well, I'll just show you. So we're going to cover this. I'm going to show you the screenshots to this video. I have the original video. I have the whole thing. Like, if we can find these people, I will take them to court. Like, I am ready. I've already sought legal counsel. Anyway, let me just show you what this company did. And then afterwards, we will take some callers. Right now, I have the phone line still set on off air mode. So I have to, I ran last minute today. As you can tell, pretty much every day, Brittney takes on a lot and runs last second. So let me just show you what this company did. Okay, as you can see there on the screen, there's the RTI truck, pink. There's me to the left. And that is footage from ABC. And this company, Brilliantly Ours Sales, on Facebook, took the footage and posted an ad on Facebook using it. They also, as you'll notice down below, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes, they also have a website, which is brilliantlyyours.com, but it's Brilliantly Ours Sales on Facebook. So somebody tipped me off the other morning. I was on my way to get my first reefer load. And as you guys may have seen on some of the other platforms, I was documenting my first night ever as a truck driver running reefer. So I'm like on a time crunch and trying to get to this reef load and figure out the trailer. And somebody tipped me off in the middle of the night. And I'm so thankful that they did on social media that, hey, Britt, some companies using your footage and ABCs, and you may want to check this out. So like I said, that wouldn't have been a big deal if they had just referenced the ABC footage and said, you know, this truck driver is working hard. A lot of truck drivers are exposed to extreme conditions. And, you know, if they'd left it at that, or it was just some story or something, like, I really wouldn't have cared. It would have been like, whatever, good. I'm glad somebody else has seen the pink truck, because we are rolling for awareness coast to coast. We're doing a good thing. This next week, we're giving away food to truck drivers all over the country. We're doing all kinds of great things. But that's not where it stopped. This wasn't an accidental, oh, we slipped some news footage in. Look what happened next. Okay, so this is where it got bad. And I'm only showing you guys the screenshots because I don't know how much other footage they stole for this and included in the video. So I have the video if we have to go to court, but I don't want to get in a legal problem or risk showing somebody else's copywritten material accidentally. So I'm just showing you guys the screenshot here. Because of the virus, it says on the screen, I am working a lot longer. We are hauling essential goods to affected areas. And then on the bottom of the screen where they've darkened out the ABC logo, this is crazy. It says Jamie. So apparently I'm Jamie now. So you guys want to see this? There's their footage right there. Here's the original ABC footage. It was posted on ABC News Digital. It was posted on ABC News 2020. It was all over the news. March 29, 2020, 8:30 p.m. They blackened all of that out. Here is my dash cam footage. This is from my truck. There's the ABC crew. Those are contractors that they use to contribute to stories. So depending on what part of the country they need a story in, they'll call their contractors, and that's kind of how ABC and a lot of news out there works. So this is where it starts to get bad. The dreadful hours of driving, it says, were giving Jamie a lot of pain. Oh, really? Apparently I have a lot of pain now. And my name's changed to Jamie. The conspiracies continue. Oh my God, I've had so many crazy things said about me. And apparently now I'm Jamie. So hello. This is where it gets worse. Before the pandemic, it says, Jamie would only drive 6 hours a day. Then it goes on to say, but her trucking hours increased significantly. Echo, ASMR. I'm still getting echo in my headset. Yes, that's why I talk like a drunk woman. I saw that comment tonight. Oh my God, you sound drunk. It's Jake. Jake has got me freaking drunk. So anyway, her trucking hours increased significantly, it says. However, Jamie started suffering from unbearable back pain. Oh, really? Oh, really? Apparently, I have back issues that I didn't know about. Just like I didn't know my name was Jamie. But let me scroll forward here. Now, this is where they stole my footage. And I'll show you the original footage here in a minute. It says, I felt the difference within the first few days, Jamie said on the corner of the screen. Okay, there's a screenshot of the original video. Yes, it was my first podcast. Before we had any fancy intro, or I hired voice actors, or we have a team, literally. Thank God. Thank you guys. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, everybody who's joined as a moderator. But before all of this was my very first podcast. And they stole the video. Going to the next one. It gets worse. It says, sitting down for hours was an absolute breeze. Not the least bit hot, too. Thank God I no longer have a hot ass. I found the cure. Going on, it says, if I can click the right media file, says, at the end of the week, my spine felt extremely limber. The shooting pains had disappeared. And then it says Jamie at the corner of the screen. Oh my God, the pain is gone. Glory to God, praise Jesus, hallelujah. It is a miracle. My back pain is gone. Now I guarantee you they'll probably try to come and steal this footage as well. I wouldn't put it past them. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And as if my week wasn't hard enough. Like, we've been trying to coordinate so many things and do so many contribute to so many great charities. Like, we've had so many opportunities. And to tell you guys the truth, and I have never talked about this openly on social media, let alone live right now on multiple platforms. But I have been dealing with threats, and it's gone back for years. The problem is, ever since the YouTube channel has grown and passed up certain other channels out there, I started getting attacked. All kinds of threatening messages, and I didn't have time to screenshot them all, but I have every one. I've had to file 3 reports with the FBI because somebody issued a death threat online. They were pissed that we were getting so much publicity, and our family of supporters have grown so much because we are like a family. Like, we don't put up with the crap. We're people who are going to tell it how it is. We're going to take care of others and try to better our country and better our world. And they don't like this. Anyway, I was warned that if this thing grows, I'm going to need a lot of protection. And what I'm about to show you on the screen, I have never showed anybody before. And this is reference an incident that happened at RTI one night. And RTI, by the way, has been very supportive. Like, they have vowed to be there and up security and make sure that, I'm safe. But one night, 3 in the morning, roughly between 2 and 3, it was late. I was getting back to RTI and it was all dark, and I was driving to a kind of off-site parking area at that time. And as I'm pulling on property, now mind you, I've already had the threats at this time. And as I'm driving around, I get a call from one of the night dispatchers. And she says, "Hey, Britt, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? What's going on?" She said, "Somebody just called the company, said they were roadside assistance. You were broke down and they needed to know your exact location and wanted me to ping you on the GPS." I'm like, this is not good, especially after somebody just threatened me. So I'm like, oh, hell no. So I told her what was going on. And she said, yeah, they were very adamant. They have to know exactly where you're at right now. So since we had reason to believe that somebody was driving around the immediate area trying to get to me for who knows what the hell what. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I have messages that said, don't be surprised if you end up 6 foot under. Don't be surprised if you end up with a whole bunch of new holes in you. Like, this has gotten ridiculous. I've kept my mouth shut this whole time. Somebody tried to get in my front door at my home. And I'm going to tell you they wouldn't have made it. That's all I'm going to say. I have every right, as does any God-fearing American, or whatever fearing might be out there, if you're an atheist. I have every right to defend myself. And I can tell you, while I was on the phone with 911, and while they were trying, I was watching the door handle wiggle, and they were shoving against the door trying to get it open. I can tell you that door was at gunpoint. Like, it's gotten so ridiculous. Anyway, called 911 immediately because this is right after the threats. Somebody's looking for me in the middle of the night. This has gotten ridiculous. I'm by myself in the truck. I didn't have Jordan that night. So I was all alone, 2, 3 in the morning, and here somebody's looking for me after a death threat. So I called 911. We raced in Kansas City PD. And of course, as always, my dash cam's always running. Like, I have multiple cameras on me. So if anybody wants to try something, you better get all the footage. That's all I'm going to say. There's 2 patrol cars right there. You turn down the audio. 2 patrol cars to the left. They're escorting me to where I can back into space. We were thinking somebody was out there to jump me. And we had an additional patrol car, actually a van with 2 officers behind me. So I had to be escorted off property. Like, that is how bad the bullying has gotten, which kind of leads me to tonight's topic. I was kind of wrestling with where to go with tonight. But here's one thing. especially with me, with my personality, is I can't hide stuff. Like, I can't sit here and be pissed off about something and go, oh, guys, the world's great. Nothing's going bad. I'm not a false person like that. I can't do it. And so I was going to talk more about the YouTube, how to be a YouTuber, kind of things YouTubers go through. Well, we're pinging on the things YouTubers go through at this point. So when we do take calls in a couple of minutes, I want to ask, have you been bullied? Have any of you experienced harassment on social media or with YouTube? And I'm going to ask you, how do we solve this? Like, how do we solve this? Because in a lot of cases, it is good just to shut up, not say a word, let him get pissed off, and ignore the crap. But then there comes a time like this week where a company takes your footage. They have no address. See, this gets bad. To file in a court of law here in America, to file suit, we must have an address. These companies know that. These fly-by-night, shady AAS companies, they know this. They're playing the game. They're like, you can't touch me. Haha. It just got so ridiculous. So anyway, I had been dealing with so much with all of these things and trying to prep for everything that we're doing to get over the road and to do charity and everything else. I mean, it was getting to be a lot. And then I found out that the company didn't just put out one ad about me. They put out many, and I'll just show you what I mean. Hey guys, I am shut down for the day, and as you can tell from my eyes, I haven't been crying, although I probably could at this point. I'm just tired. Like, we just found out this business now has 24 ads using that video. They're blasting it all over the internet. And I just heard somebody posted something on one of the pages again. So we're under like active attack from who knows how many people that are upset that I am out here and the channel's growing. Like, it's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. So as you can see, it was getting to be a lot. They had 24 different ads running with my face. Like, this was not accidental. This wasn't, oops, we accidentally included a little bit of footage of you that came from a news clip. That's not the case. They maliciously, this was pre-planned. They put this material in there for commercial use, which is illegal as hell. And I did finally hear back from Facebook. They pulled the ads, just the ones with mine in it. And they left the page up. They're giving them a slap on the hand. They're letting them continue to do business. And they're continuing to get likes on their page. Probably because people are like, hey, that's the woman that I saw on ABC. They don't know who the hell I am. They haven't searched me up. I'm almost on max. Can you guys hear me okay? That is so weird. I've got it like maxed out over here. Maybe it's my monitor on the headset. I don't know. Can you guys hear me okay right now? Testing, testing. We'll get this straight, I promise. One way or another, we will get this straight. Anyway, it was a mess. So Facebook's giving them a slap on the hand. They're letting them do business, which I fully believe their page should have been pulled down. Like, they are misleading so many people. These people didn't know who I was. Unless they went to my page, they're just going to go, oh, that's the woman that was on the news. And then they're going to get gypped. They're going to get scammed. So we're going to try something tonight. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up, and I'm going to do this live. I was really wrestling with this, but we're going to do it. I've had enough. And by the way, this company comes back to Malaysia. They have no address. They even on their website, we can't find anybody. So I am not going to put up with this, and I don't want to see anybody scammed anymore. So I'm going to their Facebook page right now, and I'm going to pull it up on the screen here in a second. And we are going to leave a review live on all the platforms. I almost said Brittney and Pink. I've got so many platforms now. We're everywhere. Let me pull them up. Brilliantly Ours Sales on Facebook. See if they're still up. Maybe they got pulled down. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay. I am going to put this on the screen for you guys and show you what I'm seeing. You can see my open broadcasting software here. Hey, we're still figuring out the tech, but we'll get there. By the way, let's see. Where do we write a review on desktop? Let's look for this. Reviews. Ooh, looks like people are sending messages too. I will be sure and go through all of the messages and as many comments as I can once we are off here. Let's see. Okay, no rating yet. That's interesting. I could swear they had a rating on here. Okay. Review. We're going to do this live right now. I've got a note prepared. I have a note prepared. Okay, copy, paste. Here we go. For our podcast listeners and possible future radio, it says, do not trust this company. This company took my footage without permission, changed my name on their video to Jamie Smith, and made it look like I made medical claims about their product. I had never heard of them or their product. I am a well-known YouTuber with one hell of a family of followers, and that is extremely true. You guys rock. And we're not going to put up with this. American Truckers and Brittney Richardson. They also took my ABC News footage with me in it without permission. I did contact ABC, by the way, guys. This is a side note. And they didn't know about this. So they are taking action on their ends. Without permission, I have all the original content on my pages, which I do. It's easy to prove. This company has no addresses anywhere and traces back to a foreign country. For some reason, Facebook removed the 24 ads that they blasted over the internet with my likeness and didn't remove the page. And I do not want anybody to get scammed. By the way, I am writing this review live on Brittney Richardson for the world to see, and I am telling the whole story about this company. Let's hit post. Boom. Right there. Right there. And you can see my personal Facebook. So I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of friend requests on there now. Boom. Done. Back to Facecam. So, and if this company wants to push it, if they want to repost my material, then you think Tiger King was something, you ain't seen nothing yet, because I am not backing down. They messed with the wrong girl. I'm going to tell you that right now. They messed with the wrong family of followers. Enough about that. Okay, guys, I am getting ready. Let me pull this up on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and prep the phone lines, and I'm going to put the number up on the screen. Have you guys been bullied? Have you guys experienced any hate online? Have you guys experienced any problems as a YouTuber? Just, with growing pains, dealing with a lot of these issues. I personally think it's everywhere. Like, I've heard it so many times over. It's the only difference is so many of us stay quiet about it because we don't want the drama. We're not here to be dramatic and make up stories against people. We're trying to stay out of the drama, and it's ridiculous. So sometimes you don't hear about all of these things. Let me prep the phone lines. Let me get this up on the screen for you guys to see. There we go. This is going to be the phone number. I need to go over and activate. I've got it on bypass right now. So let me go ahead and log in and get us switched over. Okay, let's see. Oops, hit the wrong thing. Okay. Let's move that extension. Hey, we got one caller already. Somebody's got to walk around. Let me go ahead and answer, and then I'll fix the phone lines for you guys. Hello, you are on air live.
What's up, Brittney?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. You know who this is, right?
I do. I was expecting your call. Although I'm trying to find the... I did. Guys, this is Trucker Sean Styles. Am I saying that right on YouTube?
Trucker Style Sean.
Trucker Styles Sean. I always get that backwards. But I knew you when you had how many subscribers?
I looked earlier. It was like 722 or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty early on. Like, he's growing and doing a lot of videos now.
I think I picked up like 285 subscribers this month.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
So how's everything been going with that? Have you experienced any hate or drama or anything else as you're growing?
I mean, I try and stay out of drama as much as possible. I have some people that are leaving jealous comments, but other than that, it's not too bad. But yeah, some of the other trucking YouTubers, they like to throw shade because you surpass them in subscriber base for some reason. And yeah, that and a lot of just hateful comments coming from other YouTubers' channels. But other than that, it's not too bad. I also had my footage stolen on national TV without me knowing, and had one of my subscribers bring it to my attention.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I forget which station it was. I posted the video about it. I mean, I wasn't mad about it because they actually did give my channel the recognition and say my actual name. So
I was gonna say,
yeah, I'm not Jamie. So. They didn't Jamie me.
They didn't Jamie you. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I've had footage leak out or people share footage, and reference the channel. And personally, I really don't care. It's like, that's a good thing. Somebody's sharing, It's
exactly.
Not, there's no malicious intent. Until you've been Jamie.
What they did to you, that I would not let fly. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it got to a point with me where I was just like, I'm done. You want to play hardball? Let's do it. This has crossed the line. I'm done.
Gee. Oh, of course my headset starts dying.
Oh no.
But
So where are you at
yeah,
tonight?
I'm in Jacksonville at the moment. I'm about to go pick up a load here in about 10 minutes and head back down to Miami and then go home and see my beautiful kids and wife.
Oh, awesome. Well, congratulations for going home to your kids and wife. Not a lot of drivers get to
Oh
do
yeah.
that.
That's the whole reason I started a local company.
Exactly. Exactly. Dedicated locals where it's at, I'm telling you.
Yep. Oh, for sure. I got about 9 contracts right now just for dedicated freight. Amazon being my #1 contract, and we truly are a blessed company. Just for what we've accomplished in the amount of time we have, and me, I'm 30 years old. Um, got 29 trucks and have.
Yep. Are you there?
Oh no, it's
You still there?
Yep, sorry about that. Can you still hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can still hear you.
Put it on regular phone. Is that better?
Yes, that's a lot better.
All right, I'll pull over up here. I'm still an hour and a half early anyway. So,
That works.
got to treat the customers right. Never be late.
Exactly. I always try to be early until early becomes an issue. I've noticed some places have that whole
Exactly.
like, you better be here like within like 5 minutes early, but not a minute late type of thing.
Yep. Well, Amazon, they are very, very strict when it comes to their on-time policies. So if you're late, it counts against the entire company, not just the one truck. And they will end up not giving you nearly as many loads if you end up dropping your score. So luckily, we are the top carrier in the state of Florida and #2 in the entire nation. So,
Oh wow.
oh yeah, yeah. I've been doing Amazon for 8 years now, so I think I've learned the game a little bit.
I would say so. I think that's about the time that we connected, wasn't it? Wasn't I doing the Amazon local or something?
Yep, yep. And I commented, and I remember I told you make sure you're using your app so you don't affect your carrier, and you were like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, and I remember when that whole thing first came out, they were only using like Android version and I had iPhone and then I had to
Yep.
get another phone. It was yeah, it was crazy.
No,
Really was.
same thing. I ended up having to buy every one of my drivers a new phone because we all had iPhones.
It's
I
more
ended up
generous than some
opening. So
companies.
at one point, I had over 30 phones just on my phone line, and only half of them were actually being used. They're like, why do you have so many lines? I was like, well, because Amazon changed their structure, and I had to adapt.
Yep. And
It's the little things you got to do to keep on top, though. So.
exactly. Exactly. That's the main thing is be on time, be on top of it, and you'll be in a good relationship with Amazon.
Exactly. Like I meet with my carrier representative every week. We go out to lunch every week to go over numbers, projections, and basically just talk about what's coming up. Every week they have a call-in phone call for everybody within the nation that hauls for Amazon to voice their concerns, find out what's going on, what changes are going to be made. You don't know how many carriers don't even bother to call in just to find out what's going on, and all of a sudden they get like no loads because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. It's one of those, if you're going to be a business owner, you got to like give it your full. You can't just be like, oh, it'll work out in the end.
That is so true. Yeah, I didn't even know they had one of those call-ins. setup. That's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I have some carriers that are really not happy with us right now, just because of the load capacity we are running at this point.
Hmm.
Um, Mainly because of our carrier score, and we've been doing it so long. And I mean, some companies are like, "Oh, we have 50 trucks. We only got 6 loads this week." It's like, well, you need to stay on top of your drivers and do what you're supposed to be doing. Plain and
No
simple.
kidding.
I mean, do you think being a business owner is all right? I just collect money every week and everything's hunky dory. No, it takes work.
It
I
does.
mean, I average 4.5 hours of sleep a day just because I'm always working. If I'm not in the truck, I'm always on my laptop checking, making sure everybody's on time, making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to. If I see somebody's within 20 minutes of not picking up, and I can ping their truck and they're like maybe haven't even moved yet, give them a call. Hey, everything okay? Just little things like that, just to make sure that you're setting forth for the future of the company and making sure you stay in good standings. And at that point, be like, oh yeah, I overslept, I won't be on time. I
Hmm.
can always call another driver that lives closer, be like, hey, can you go just pick up the initial load? He'll relay it off of you real quick. I'll give you an extra $300 just for your time.
Hmm.
Would you mind doing that? And just little things like that. And just a lot of people don't want to put the work in that it takes to try and build a successful business, to actually try and grow as a company. Like, my goal eventually is not to have to be in the truck nearly as much
Hmm.
and be able to spend more time at home. But right now, I dedicate majority of my time in the truck. I actually did a video, I think last month. I took the family on vacation, had to take my truck with me, and I'm glad I did, because I had a driver that called out. I had to leave Disney and go do a run and meet them back at the hotel in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I think that's a big battle that all of us have to some level, at least, is the call to the open road, but then also the call to be home, because it's, I know when I've had an opportunity to be home more, it's like I miss the road so bad. So
Oh, I know what you mean.
exactly.
Like,
And
I
some of the
miss
dedicated routes
waking
can
up
be the
in a
best
different
to
state
get you
every
home.
day.
Hmm?
I said I miss waking up in a different state every day, like either in Colorado, go doing a run, be like, all right, I'm not going to book myself a load. I got my snowboard in the back. I'm hitting the mountain today. Just
Hmm.
stuff like that. And or just going out, like, get a nice load to California. Like, all right, I'm going surfing today. Plain and simple. Park the
Oh, I
truck at the
know.
beach, Bobdale. I'm
Oh my
going
God.
surfing.
Our first load for this Fueling America's Heroes project was supposed to be to Anaheim, California. And I was so excited to visit California, even though this is a really bad time, right? But it's a
Oh
beautiful
yeah,
drive going out there every once in a while.
yep. I end up like, before the COVID hit and everything else, I had a vacation booked. I had one of my partners set to basically run the entire company for me while I'm gone, so I can actually get away from the business for 3 weeks. I mean, I haven't done that since I've started my company, or even when I initially put out to start my company and I was with other companies, just trying to build good business relationships. I mean,
Hmm.
in the past decade, I really haven't taken a real vacation. And so I had a European cruise line booked, and then we were going to spend a week in Italy. And yeah, we had to cancel that trip. So
Oh, wow. Life of a
my
driver,
wife,
huh?
oh, my wife, she's been cooking pasta and everything all the time. She's like, yep, could have been in Italy.
No kidding. I would have been really disappointed. Real fast before I forget, I was looking at some of these comments here, and somebody asked, Linda asks, is Prime dropping Amazon? And then somebody replies, Prime is owned by Amazon. Did Amazon acquire Prime? I guess is what I'm saying. I hadn't
Yes,
heard
Prime
that.
is owned by Amazon.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
They are basically the Prime is subsidiary of Amazon, and it's more of a, how do I put it? I don't know how to put the words to it right now. But basically, yeah, they are a subsidiary of Amazon.
That is interesting. Amazon is buying everything. I'm telling you what.
Oh, for sure. They're trying to corner the market. And not just one market, every market.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's hard
I mean,
to
hell, they
tell
just
who owns.
started buying and selling cars as well. So.
I see. I hadn't heard that either.
Yep.
That is crazy. So it's kind of like the cell phone companies. You have so many
Yep,
cell
kinda
phone
like
companies that
Virgin.
you're like, I hate T-Mobile or I hate Verizon, but I love this company. And you're like, you realize that
I
company is
love
owned by
T-Mobile.
Verizon.
Yep.
You never know anymore.
Yep. Just like most people don't realize, most of like the exotic cars and luxury brands are owned by Volkswagen.
Hmm.
People don't realize that like Lamborghini is a Volkswagen, Bugatti is a Volkswagen. Most people don't
crazy.
realize that. Alfa Romeo, Volkswagen. And I
Yes,
believe
Amazon owns Whole Food.
Volkswagen owns like 33% of Ferrari as well.
That is crazy. Wow. Walk up to a Ferrari driver and say, "Hey, you're driving a Volkswagen. You're driving something owned by a Volkswagen."
Oh, my friend, he has a Lamborghini Gallardo, and we normally go to the Audi dealership to get all his parts just because they're a fraction of the price and they're the same part number.
Hmm. That's funny. That is so funny. I've heard good
Sometimes.
things about Audis too.
Oh, I love Audis. I had a R8 last year, and it was a dream. I mean, it's one of those cars you can actually daily drive, no problem.
Hmm.
And then my wife was like, "Yeah, that's gotta go. We got 4 kids." Like, okay, I guess this time is over.
Would you get it in its
So I bought
place?
a minivan.
Minivan. Oh my God, are you kidding? That's
No,
funny.
minivan gang. I got 2 of them.
You just went with
Granted,
it.
mine
You're like,
has.
I'm just gonna get
Oh,
it.
my wife, we kept hers completely stock. Mine and I have a manual transmission swapped in with twin turbos. So the kids prefer mine. That and I have TVs. So.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's that was last year's build after I got rid of the car. Yeah,
That is crazy.
my whole thing is just having fun with the kids, being able to actually do things with the kids, spend time with them. I mean, my dad, he owned 3 companies when I was a kid, so he was never there. And he always led us to believe we were broke, not knowing this dude is loaded. And
It's probably
so
how he
we
got
grew
loaded.
up. Exactly. And it's one of those that taught me to like basically live on a shoestring budget so later you can actually have fun. And know when you can splurge and when you have to stay frugal. And that was one of the biggest life lessons I ever learned, and that's how I live my life now. I mean, when I have the extra, yeah, we'll have fun, but I normally do it just to have fun with my kids and either treat my wife and show her the appreciation I have for her. Just
Definitely.
little things just show up randomly or have something sent to the house. Be like, yeah, just know I'm thinking of you. Like my daughter, if you watch a couple of the older videos, my daughter loves coming out on the truck with me. We'll come out. Granted, she makes me listen to like Miley Cyrus and stuff like that, but still, a hell of a time.
Absolutely. That's one thing that you can never get back is time.
Exactly. And then this year, my oldest son, he'll finally be old enough he can go out on the truck with me. Because of my insurance policy, they have an age limit of 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, he's going to be 10 this month, and he's like, Dad, I'm going out on the truck with you. He's like, I'm staying out for a week. I was like, all right, let's do it. Come on, let's go.
That's awesome.
So that way, we can start building those, like, memories.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
my daughter, she already said, Dad, I'm going to drive a truck when I'm older. I was like,
She did.
you're a little young. Just think about that. Know that's what you want to do first. If that's what you want to do, I'll support you. Just know, you see everything I go through. She's like, I know. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's
okay,
awesome.
Sure. Come on.
That's great. That's great.
I mean, hell, I had my wife and my 4 kids and me. We all slept in my truck out in Tampa one night just because they had a Comic-Con there. That next morning, I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't feel like packing the minivan. Just get in the truck. Let's go. So we all packed in here and slept on a double bunk and just went to the Comic-Con in the morning. And it's just little things like that they will never forget.
Mm-hmm. That is so cool. Absolutely. Did you ever ride with your father on the truck?
Yep. I rode with my dad, and biggest one, because my dad didn't drive very much. He only did it to help my uncle out when he was in a bad spot. But mainly I rode with my uncle. And that was one of the things that changed my life forever. I mean, this was back in the early 90s. He had just bought a brand new W900. It was the, the Frost Blue. And I just thought that was the coolest thing I had ever seen. He rolls up in the driveway, starts blowing the air horn, and like revs it up, lets the Jakes kick in. I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And that never goes away, does it?
Oh, no. I mean, just the sound, like even every time I hear someone else's Jake brakes, I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Today, I was getting some photos at RTI for one of the sponsors to this charity thing. And this train was behind us on a set of train tracks. And it kicked its engines in and started to take off and honk its horn. So I'm like, oh, my God, I got to do this. So I hopped in the truck and started honking my air horn back. Literally 2 hoots. And then they did 2. I did 2 back. They did 2. I mean, it never gets old. It doesn't.
I mean, I've ended up, I pulled the valve covers off like 3 times on my truck, and just to readjust my valves on the engine brake, just so I can get it to the sound I wanted. And everybody thinks I was like nuts. Like I pull the valve cover off, readjust them, go take it for a ride, be like, no, not loud enough. Come back, readjust it again, not loud enough. Come back, oh, too much, and just doing it over and over again. Finally, I'm like. And then I got my daughter with me, and she was like, Dad, she was like, that's what, she's like, that's the sound that comes through my headphones. I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, I love it. Like, okay, cool. That's it. We found it right there. All right, cool.
That is so cool. Your daughter seems awesome.
Oh, that girl. Oh, if you watch my video from last week, she scared the living hell out of my wife. My niece actually works in the movie makeup industry, so she taught my daughter how to do like some of like the fake wounds and stuff like that. So my daughter does it like this giant like burn on her hand, and she was cooking at the time, and she like played it off so well. She just screams, she's like, Mom, and pulls her hand up like she had just had it on the burner, and my wife flips out, oh my God. And then my daughter starts peeling it off. She's like, God, you're so easy.
Oh, my God.
My wife was so pissed. I'm on the couch pissing myself laughing so hard because I knew it was coming. And it's just, for an 11-year-old, this girl is so ahead of her time.
Oh my
and
God.
she's just such an awesome kid.
Oh my
And like
God.
my two youngest, like on dirt bikes and everything. I have a 4-year-old that has actually just started hitting jumps and everything on the dirt bike, and the kid's like a freaking natural. And then I got my son Avery, who does like competitions on Fortnite, and he's only 9.
Oh
And
wow.
it just the things nowadays, like granted, yeah, they have a little more time than a lot of other kids to do the things they want because they are homeschooled. But just giving them that opportunity, be like, dude, what's your interest? And all right, cool, we'll give it 100%, and just giving them that ability, and be like, dude, do what you want, have fun. If this is what you want to do, I'm behind you 100%. And kind of like with my dad, when I used to race motocross or when I used to do drifting or drag racing, my dad was behind me 100%. And that was like the biggest time we ever spent together was at racetracks, whether it be boat racing, drag racing, drifting, whatever. My dad was behind me 100%. So that was biggest thing. My mom, on the other hand, she wasn't there. She left when I was 5. So it was
That's
just
sad.
growing up in an all male environment was kind of culture shocked when you become a teenager, though. Like
I
going
can
over
imagine.
friends' houses and they have they're actually sitting down at a table to eat. You're like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like,
So
where's the TV tray?
have you guys always homeschooled your kids then?
Yes. We
That is
sent
so
them to
cool.
school for, I think, 2 months, and my daughter got expelled.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, there was another child picking on a different kid and everything who had asthma, and the other child was pushing her, so my daughter beat the living hell out of him. So, I mean, they thought I was going to, like, reprimand her and everything, and there I was like, no, dude, you got their back. And, of course, they're like, yep, no, don't come back.
That's the thing.
And,
It's sadly a lot of schools when kids are facing bullying, they don't do enough to stop the situation or protect the kids because
they just ignore it.
it's a
They
hands-off
act like it's not
approach
even happening.
completely.
And me, I've raised my kids, like, no, you stick up for other people. If they're being wronged and you can help, do everything you can. Don't put up with that. Let them know what you're doing is wrong.
Exactly. And then that gets reprimanded. It's
Yep.
crazy. No, one thing that people probably don't know is I was homeschooled. I've always been homeschooled. And you pinged on something that really changed my life, and that was that one thing my parents did right was anything that I was interested in, they pursued. Like they let me pursue it.
Yep.
And you have more of those freedoms when you're homeschooling.
Exactly. Like my wife actually got her CDA degree and everything just so she'd be able to do the lessons. And like me, well, my wife, she's horrible at math. And when I say horrible, I mean like, yeah, not like really, really bad. So me, I'm the one who've been like even over video chat while I'm at work. Like if I'm parked waiting on the load to be ready, I'll go over everything with them, teach them how to do like long division math, stuff like that, and just work with them just even over the phone. If I'm home, be like, all right, grab your math books. We got 3 lessons to do. Let's get it done. Then we're going to the skate park. Like, all right, cool.
That is
And
so
they
cool.
don't put in any fight. And like, all right, cool. We're going to do something awesome after we get done our work. And that's the way I was raised because, like, one of my dad's business, we owned a family farm. So growing up on the farm, you had your work to do before school. You go to school. After school, you come home, get your work done, finally eat something, and then go to bed and do the same thing every day. So it's actually trying to instill a work ethic in in my kids nowadays and let them know, be like, all right, you can have fun and play, but you still got to get done what you got to get done first.
Exactly. We had the same thing. You had so much more flexibility. And instead of being stuffed into some overfull classroom, you can focus on the child's needs and actually
Yep.
help them advance. And then still have the time to do something fun afterwards.
Yep. And like, just also, like, you come home, you've had like a shitty week. Be like, all right, I'm doing something. We're going somewhere. I just got to get away, get my mind off things. Like, pull up to the house, be like, all right, everybody hop in. We're going to Orlando, going to Disney. And just little things like that. We've done so many just like day trips. Like, I'll come home in a shitty mood and be like, all right, we're going somewhere and doing something. And the kids aren't in school. It's like 8 in the morning, and like, you already know. Be like, all right, we don't have to drive them to school. They don't have to be in a classroom, blah, blah, blah. We can do the work tomorrow or just spread this out over the next couple of days for the work they were doing today, and let's just go do something. And just the ability and flexibility it provides is just amazing.
It is. And it's a lot like what we experience as entrepreneurs too, because once we get to the point where we do have time flexibility, if not full-time freedom, then you can work things around. You can say, okay, that's it. That's one thing that I like about me and Jordan's situation is, other than RTI, you see, everybody sees what I do on there and how much I drive. But when I do come home, I have other income producing opportunities to where I can stay home for a week, and during that week, I work constantly. I do. I'm an overachiever. We both are. But we get to a point during the day where, like, you know what? We're tired. Forget this. We can get to the project tomorrow. Let's go do something. And it's amazing. It's just amazing. You never get that time back.
I have this thing my wife calls my man cave, right? And it's basically my office at the house. And since my kids were always in there, and I'm trying to get work done either on the call with shippers, finding out projections on the next week, what's going on. It just got to the point because my kids were always in the room. I ended up buying a couch, another TV, and another like PlayStation. Put it in there. Be like, yo, come on, y'all want to hang out? Go ahead, just go ahead, play. When I'm off the phone, I'll hop in and we'll do a couple of rounds or something like that. And it's awesome. Just being able to adapt and still be there for them and not just pushing them away and trying to find that balance. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, there is a balance, and there's no parenting manual. I don't have kids.
Oh, for sure.
And the real reason I don't is you can't. I'm over the road. We've got so much going on, so we've been out of position. But me and Jordan have had that discussion, so we look forward to raising a family one day. But
I'm gonna tell you this right now, though. Everyone always tells you get your finances in order before you have kids. That's bullshit. All right. If you're gonna be a parent, you're gonna learn to adapt. Plain and simple. It just gives you that extra oomph to do what you got to do to make sure everything's taken care of.
Sure, absolutely.
That's like my friend, oh, we want to have another baby, but I don't know if now's the right time. I haven't gotten a raise, blah, blah, blah. It's like, get a fucking paper route if you're so worried about money. Come on, man. There's other methods out there. You just don't want to put forth that extra work. It's like, don't make excuses just because you're not sure of something. If you're in a bad situation, change it.
Exactly.
Things might be hard, but if you're not happy, change it.
Exactly. See, that's what I did. Some were around when I had the old beat up Toyota pickup. When I lost my house, I lost everything that I owned. I went completely bankrupt and was nearly on the street.
Toyota pickup. I mean, that was one of my first vehicles. I loved that damn thing.
I did too, honestly. It was beat up to no end. The doors about fell off. They were like half bolted and welded in. But I'll tell you what, that engine kept going.
Reliable.
It was.
A
It was
22
very.
RE is one of the most reliable motors you'll ever see.
It was. I had people at one point saying, "I will give you $5,000 just for the motor." I should have taken it.
Hmm.
But it was a good vehicle. It got me through. It did.
Yeah, my dad was so mad because this was when we were I think when I was like 12 years old. We were just seeing drifting on like the internet, me and my brother. So it's like, you know what? And then they had like this whole tutorial, what you need to start drifting. And the biggest thing was like a welded diff. I was like, all right, cool. So we took my dad's truck in the garage, broke the welder out, welded diff on his truck, and just went out and started ripping donuts because there was like a circle turnaround on the property that was paved. I was like, all right, cool. We come back, my dad's tires that he had just bought like 3 weeks prior were completely bald, and he goes to take it for a run. Then all of a sudden he hears like a chirping out of the rear end, and he looks at us. He pulls the cover off. He's like, "You little sumbitch!" So he's just going off. Then he starts whipping donuts, and he's like, "Yeah, that's pretty fun." And it's just little things like that. You think he'd be mad, then all of a sudden he has more fun than you do. And just stupid things
awesome.
like that.
That is hilarious. Gotta have fun.
Looking back, I had one hell of a childhood. I really enjoyed it. Sadly, the things we could do as kids, this generation, they wouldn't get away with. So that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I found this out later after me and Jordan got together, but he was homeschooled as well. So we clicked from the start. And when I found that out, I was like, oh my God, what are the coincidences? So it was kind of cool.
Honestly, I think a lot of the people that are homeschooled, they have more, how do I put it, more compassion in what they're doing and towards other people. And it's just because like they have that freedom. They're not nearly as stressed out all the time as a kid. And like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to be here, I have to do this. It's like, no, just take it easy. You'll learn it. Don't get stressed out. It'll come to you. If you need extra work on a certain subject, you have time. In a classroom, like, they don't give you that extra time. It's like, all right, you have to learn it by now. If not, you failed. Plain and simple.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, it's like pass or fail. You're behind in one area, you're just done. So there's no flexibility. And like you said, the biggest thing is there's that quality time with you and your kids. You know, there's that one-on-one time to teach them those life lessons, teach them those business lessons early on that they won't have to learn the hard way.
Exactly. And me, like, I'm the, people give me hell about it, but I'm like kind of old school mentality. And like, I gave my wife the option, be like, do you want to be a stay-at-home mom, yes or no? And she said, yeah, she would love that, just to make sure we know the kids are raised the way we want them to be. Like, all right, cool. I'll work extra, just make sure everything's going good. And for the last 7 years, my wife's been a stay-at-home mom. And granted, she catches some resentment from her friends, but other than that, it's what she wants to do. I already told her, I was like, dude, if you ever want to get a job, that's 100% up to you. We'll make it work. And she's like, nope, I'm good. Like, I'll make sure y'all are fed, everybody's taken care of. That's all I need. All right.
Definitely. So how far are you away from home now? Or did we lose you? Or did I hit the mute
Probably.
button?
I'm like in the boonies out in Jacksonville.
I haven't been to Jacksonville since Jordan nearly got arrested at the ports. Yeah, that was crazy.
Right.
I am not going back to the ports. Hey, at least they take their security serious out there. We were picking up copy
for
paper.
Sure.
And
Oh, wow.
God bless that copy paper was guarded heavily. But it does look like
the scariest load I have ever ran was actually running national currency. And
oh, wow.
that was armed guards ahead, behind. They tell you where you have to park. They tell you where you have to fuel. And it was just completely nuts.
I can imagine.
But that, like, you're going to sleep and you know somebody's just right outside of your truck, like watching and listening in. It's like, this is kind of odd.
That would be different to get used to, for sure. And a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, like, you can only do that load once. So it's like, all right, cool. I knocked that off at the like the beginning of my career. Check. And then just doing other aspects, like when I used to haul hazmat and just going through, and like when I hauled a hazmat tanker as well. And it's like, yeah, I do not see myself doing this very much longer. And just like the incident you had when through the construction zone, it's like that thought always in the back of your head, be like, either someone could die or I'm going to prison if I do anything wrong. And just that weighing on you, like I lasted 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. And a lot of the positions for hazmat don't pay that much more for the hassle that you have to deal with.
It was only like an extra 6 cents per mile. That's it. I was like, this is not worth the stress.
Exactly. How many years off my life am I losing over 6 cents? Come on now.
Like, shit, I grabbed the load at 3 o'clock. I got graze already.
Yeah, no kidding. Right. It's crazy. That's the reason I don't have graze. I pulled out quickly. Didn't take me long.
Listen, I just started. Oh my God, my wife. She was like, I have gray hair. I was like, all right, you look more distinguished. She was like, no, I'm getting some dye and you're getting rid of this shit. I was like, okay. And she was like, your kids are stressing me out now. Like, hey, yo, what you do?
That's funny.
My wife hates it because I'll always ask, like, you know what your son did today? Like, last time I checked, you pushed him out. But okay, so what did my son do today? And just stupid little things like that. And she's like, I got gray hair. I was like, all right, you're more distinguished. And then she was like, hey, honey, you got some grays coming in the back.
Oh, no.
And she was like, that means you're more distinguished? I was like, no, that means you're going to have a bald husband here pretty soon.
That's funny. You're just going with it.
I shaved my head,
like,
and my daughter's like, oh, Daddy, no.
That's so funny. Well, I better let you get
you look
to
like Mr. Clean with an egg-shaped head. Like, okay.
Exactly. I better let you get back to your family. I noticed we have some more callers coming in that are waiting on queue. So I think we're going to go on to our next line of callers here in a second. But it was so nice to talk to you. I get so busy.
Keep in touch. I said, you too, keep in touch.
I know, it's so hard. There's days that like my personal Messenger PM on Facebook is like full of 20, 30 messages. And it's like, I want to connect with every one of these people because they're like my closest people, right? And somehow I always get distracted or something comes up and I'm just like, oh my God. I wish I could connect with everybody. I really do.
Well, you got my number. Go ahead, shoot me a text whenever, and we could stay in touch. Maybe set one of these things up one of these days. You can come on my channel with me.
I would love that. Anytime. Open invitation.
Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You enjoy your time with your family.
All right, will do. Take it
Uh,
easy.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I'm going to refresh this page because sometimes it freezes up and will not ring through again. But it looked like we have one caller on queue. And we'll see if it rings back through. In the meantime, let me check on some of the comments. Let's see. Let's see if our Restream IO comments are working. It was a hot day down there, somebody says. Jordan Mole. I recognize that name. He's a very hot guy. Very hot guy. Never forget Jordan. Jordan. Let's see. Jordan's posted the number. Britt, could you pin the number as well on her live screen? Okay. Yeah, we should have the number up. Hang on, let's see. Okay. We got a caller. Let me go to the next call.
This is a call for on air.
Sorry about that. I think I hung up on you. I got to get used to this thing. Let me try to call back. Hey, it's Britt from On Air Live. Can you hear me?
Brittany?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hold on
Okay.
a second. Trying to figure out what just happened because I just lost my earpiece. Okay, I'm still here.
Okay, good.
For some reason, it's playing on my cell phone instead.
Oh.
Okay, yep. So I'm here. It's Barry.
I was going to say, is this the voice of Barry? I recognize
Yes.
your voice.
See if I can walk away from the computer now if it'll work. Here we go. Yeah, unfortunately, I have so many devices hooked up to my cell phone because I have a new earpiece I'm using to test out a product right now for a friend of mine for his business. And I got my smartwatch hooked up to my cell phone and nothing went to work tonight.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it's like everything's bouncing all over the place.
I've always wanted
Actually,
to
that's
get
fine.
one of those, like, what is it, Fitbits or... Uh-oh, I think we lost the caller. It disconnected. Hang on, let me try to call back. I can totally relate, guys, to, like, headset issues and everything else. Especially when I had to use these, the earbuds. Yes. Until I got a better headset by Stellar Electronic. Which, by the way, we're going to be giving away some
Hello?
headsets soon. Hey, are we back?
Yeah, sorry, I lost you.
It's okay.
Okay, there we go. So that works now. Okay, good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fortunately, today's just one of those days.
Oh, trust me. I haven't stopped moving. Echo, Jake. I haven't stopped moving since this morning.
Well, I know how that feeling is. Like, I've been running around all day helping people out. I just helped somebody move today because the property that they were staying in got condemned. So it was like, okay, let's go up and help them out quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if it wasn't for having my brother-in-law having one of his company trucks at his property, I would have never been able to get these people out in one day.
Oh, wow.
So I was able to borrow my brother-in-law's company truck. Just like, hey, guys, I got a big tractor trailer for you. Just hold on, I got some people coming in to block off the air so I can pull up and park the truck.
That is so awesome. Somebody did that with me when I had a dispute with the landlord, and I didn't do anything wrong. I won't get into the story, but it was a mess. The landlord asked me to leave, and I had no way to leave. My vehicles were broke down at the time, and somebody came with the trailer and bailed me out. And I was so thankful.
I mean, the nicest thing is when, like, the area that I live, well, I shouldn't say where I'm living at now, but where I used to live, when we always had an issue, there was always somebody nice enough. It's like, hey, I need help. These people didn't care what time of the day or night it was. They were there and they were helping you out.
Mm-hmm.
Like where I used to live, my landlord sold the property out from underneath me, unfortunately, after I paid him for 2 years worth of rent, and I was trying to buy the property off of him. And I had to move at 2:00 in the morning, and I didn't even have a vehicle at the time because my transmission went in my truck that I had. And I turned around and put on Facebook that I had no choice but to move. The cops turned around, told us if we weren't out in 2 hours, that they were actually going to arrest us, find us, and put us in jail.
Oh,
I
no.
never had the turnout of my life. Like, I never realized how many friends I had on that night. Like, I had people from the fire department showing up. I had truck drivers showing up at my door and everything. And they're like, hey, we're going to get you out of here faster than crap. I'm like, I did not expect this from anybody.
That is so cool.
So it's like, when I moved in with a friend of mine, and I come down here, and it's like, he's in the fire hall, and he got me, like, literally into that fire company within, like, 24 hours. They were accepting me and everything.
Oh, that is awesome.
So I was so grateful for him.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, he's moved away and come back so many times. And my landlord's like, I know you just took over his lease, but he goes, I'm not worried about anything. He goes, there's not even a lease for the property. He says, it's word of mouth lease, which unfortunately I found out the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not valid. Like, when you need help, it's not really that good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been bouncing back and forth between all the pages that we're on right now. I did see some of the people over on the YouTube channel. I don't know if Jordan saw it also, but they were saying about the microphone that you should re-angle that directly towards you, because it left off to the side. They said they weren't hearing as well. But,
Okay.
I mean, everybody is different. Like, even with me being a musician and stuff, I always put the microphone directly at me, but it does depend on what type of microphones you're using, because some of them, the further you get away from the mics, they don't want to pick up.
Right.
And
This
unfortunately,
one before is done well on the side. I think maybe the volume was just too low. We had some issues with the volume settings earlier, and I can hear it in my headset. I think it's coming through louder in my headset than it is in the actual mic.
And that's the hardest thing, because most microphones, like, they're not made for the volume to be picking up off the side of the mic. It's like for a direct contact, unless you're using like a studio condenser mic, which most people won't use those unless they're actually in a recording. You're trying to get like 6 or 7 people around a microphone. They're like they almost remind you of like looking like an actual razor, like a man would use, like those electric razors.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, otherwise everybody was coming across clear, everything. And I mean, there for a little bit, like the Facebook page, so I realize now that you're live on the fan page, but you weren't when we first started, and it kicked in, so that's a little bit behind us, but it finally picked up.
That's strange.
And
How
I mean,
far
I've been
behind
bouncing
was
around,
it?
but,
Do you know?
I'm not really sure, but I do realize that the YouTube channel is coming in a lot faster than Facebook. Like, YouTube, from the Facebook page to the YouTube page is a 30-second difference. Like, YouTube is like almost 20 to 30 seconds ahead of us.
Okay. So there is a little delay depending on the platform. So that's probably a good thing that we did the whole like standby intro thing, or standby for broadcast.
Because and the thing is, I'm also finding out though, is that if everybody is on a mobile device, like a cell phone, before using like a computer or a laptop, it does go through a lot faster also.
That's interesting.
So it's like, it's kind of fun to figure that out, because it's like, okay, if you use a mobile platform, it runs a lot quicker than having like a desktop or something, which, I mean, it does kind of help out, because especially with all the people coming in and helping out moderate the comments and everything, it gives them a little bit of timing to turn around, see something to get it taken care of as quick as possible.
That's awesome.
And,
yeah, I was going to say, by the way, guys, just a side note, this is Barry. This is one of our moderators. we had so many people volunteer to help moderate these pages, and Barry and everybody has been so amazing, like a lifesaver to me. So thank
And
you
trust
so
me,
much.
moderating a page is not easy
No.
because I found out the hard way. Like, I don't just see like the comments, the messages, or everything. I'm also getting all the notifications off your Instagram page.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. I guess because
because
it's connected.
Because yeah, you have everything linked, so it's like every time you put something on Instagram, it notifies us, and it's like if someone comments or likes or does whatever to it, we automatically see that. I'm like, oh, and it's like
wow.
early I realized like I came in the live and I didn't realize it changed from me commenting as myself to actually commenting as you. I'm like, I came back in because everything lagged out on me and froze up on my computer. And Jared replied to something to me, and I didn't even see I'm at Jordan. I didn't even see his reply. So I got out and came back in. I put that I'm back, and it pops up as you. And I'm like, oops. Now, I didn't realize, though, a lot of people were sending you messages that are moderating the page saying that they were having the same issue, that they go to comment, and it comments as you instead of them. And I did explain to somebody on how to change that, but it's real tricky because, like, when you moderate a page or you're an admin for a page, if you don't want to talk as yourself, you're automatically going to talk as the person that's in charge of that page. So there's a little section that will have an icon of either the face of whoever runs the page for what their profile picture is, and then your very own, if you click the down arrow, your own profile page will be listed there also. And you can click on that icon and change it to yourself so you're not like commenting as the page.
That's awesome. Okay, I didn't realize that either. So you were able to get it fixed on your end then, as far as having your name? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and sometimes like I've had people like I've answered the messages back for people, and they're like, I literally put on purpose that it's Barry dash moderator because that way people know they're not just talking to you. There's actually somebody there to help them out. And I mean, that's something I learned from in the fire department because we have like 27 people in my fire hall that moderate our page and everything. Even though I'm like the head admin for the Facebook page for the fire hall, I still let people know, hey, it's Barry admin for the fire hall, and then all of our moderators, we all have a number listed, or we turn around and put like our ranking for the officership. Like me, I'm a lieutenant, so I'll just put down lieutenant, whatever my number is for the fire company. And I mean, it does help out. And even when we have people running pages, it does help out a lot because now this way somebody knows, okay, they're not just dealing with the actual creator of the page or who's the publisher. They have somebody helping them out. And like, I mean, there was times where I saw people were asking questions. Like somebody asked a question last night. They're like, I don't see you in the truck as much. Are you still driving?
Oh.
And my reply back was, hi there, it's Barry, a moderator. She's still driving. They're kind of busy with a lot of stuff going on right now. She'll be back in the truck soon. And they put back, okay, thank you very much. And then we had somebody else that was asking for, I mean, there was a couple messages, people were asking for information on RTI. And I'm like, I will let Brittney know that you are looking for information and try to get back to you. But if for right now, if you can't get a hold of Brittney or not knowing how long it would take, your best bet is to go right on RTI's website, and they have a link right to their YouTube channel that will turn on take you through all the videos and everything that they've put together for hiring people or people looking for information. And the person was very grateful that I gave them that information.
That is awesome. That's great. Yeah, because you'd
actually,
be surprised how many messages come through when you have multiple platforms like that.
I went through, there was the day that you put me in as a moderator and I first got on everything, there was over 1,000 messages, and it took me 24 hours to go down through everything. And some of them were very old messages too, that like they were all answered. Nobody was replying. I'm like, well, some of these were from last year. I'm like, like I saw my very first message I ever sent to the page when I first started following you, and that's when I was asking you if you actually knew a friend of mine that I used to help her on her page, but now I heard she got married and she's no longer driving tractor trailer anymore, and that was Allie Knight when she was running her page, because I was working with her and helping her out on all of her platforms and everything.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yes.
So
Yep.
she's
And I'm like,
back on the road now too. Last I
I
heard.
did hear she's back out there on the road. Someone said she's back out on the road, and from what I did understand, that the guy that she's with now, they bought a house and completely remodeled the house.
Oh wow.
And then they were out driving around in a camper and traveling.
Mhm.
And she said eventually they did want to get back on the road because she missed being out there.
That's
And
see, I was gonna say
it,
if that's what happens, that's what so many of us run into is like we get away from the truck and we're like, oh, this is great. We have all this freedom, can go anywhere in a vehicle or an RV. And then it's like, I miss the truck. I miss some of that stuff.
and I've seen it all the time. Like I go to a lot of the truck shows, and it's like you get all these people like, oh, I hit retirement age where they don't want to let me drive anymore, but they said I could not get away from the truck. Well, next thing you know, it's like, okay, so, and I start telling them, I'm like, yo, did you see these custom sleepers? And they're like, what do you mean the custom sleepers? I said, it's a semi truck, basically with the body of an RV, and you still have your fifth wheel. Where I have a friend of mine, I can give you his contact information. You can become an OTR / owner operator underneath him. You give him a call every single Monday, and he'll find all kinds of loads for whatever trailers you operate, and he'll get you those runs and send you wherever you want to go. And they're like, oh, so next thing you know, I got guys pulling up in these big luxury sleeper RVs and everything, and it's actually a semi truck or it's just a stretch sleeper. Or I get some of the people like, okay, I'm retired, I don't want to go on the road anymore, but I still want to turn around, have like the truck feel. I'm like, well, dude, the best thing for you then is to go buy a Super C camper. And the Super C camper is like, it almost reminds you of like a Class C camper, which is where we don't need a CDL for or any special endorsement. So you have the cab of the semi truck, you got your driver and passenger seat, your dashboard and everything just like a semi, and the whole back side of it all the way back minus the fifth wheel is the camper like a normal camper would have. And the only thing different is you just have to get your air brake endorsement test.
Okay.
And I mean, a lot of people actually do. I find out a lot of your truck drivers now, they get off the road, they're retiring, they're going out and they're buying the Super C campers, which it's amazing. I mean, I've driven one before. I love being behind the wheel of it. A buddy of mine just bought a camper. Unfortunately, he's in the hospital. And I get there to pick up the camper for this guy, and they're like, you're not here for a camper. You're here for a luxury custom sleeper semi-truck. I'm like, my buddy told me it was supposed to be a camper. He takes me down. He shows me the camp, what I thought was supposed to be the camper. And here it was a 2020 Peterbilt, and it had a 35-foot box on the truck. So it was basically the rig, driver's seat, the cockpit, walk right back through this little door, and you basically have your full living accommodation, your bunk, your living room, kitchen, bathroom, all in one small area. So it's like you have all the luxuries of home right there on the road with you.
Oh, wow. I just found one. I looked up Type C camper, and I found one. I've got it on the screen right now. It looks like it has a BMW.
Okay, that's actually the one that you have on the screen right now. Those are actually your Class A and Class B. That's not even close to one.
Here's what pulled up originally. I'll show you at the top of the screen.
Okay, right
up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say right down. It's actually right down in the bottom corner that you had there for a second. Okay, see, those are actually your Class Bs. Yeah, the top picture is a Class B, and right there at the bottom of the screen, right where you had that. Okay, that one that you have highlighted right now, that's your Super C camper.
Oh, really? Okay, got you.
Yes. So it'll be that picture right there. That's the Super C.
Okay, so that's a Class B. So that would require
that would be
a Class B?
No, it's actually a CDL Class C because it's recreational.
Oh, that is it. Okay, I got you. Class C.
Okay. See, those ones right now there are your normal Class Cs. But when you were back on that last page just a little bit ago, the third picture over would be your Class C because they almost remind you of just like a semi-truck would look like. and they're
Mhm.
actually built on CDL chassis and everything.
Look at this one. This one's a
And
$500,000 nearly for this
oh,
camper.
they're actually, yeah, they're really expensive.
Oh my God. That looks
And
so cool though.
I'm like, because right there where you're at, okay, that picture that you have your mouse keeps highlighting it on my computer. I'm not sure how it looks on your end, but that one right there, those are usually what they classify as the Super C. Yeah, that's the one right there. They're a Super C camper. And most states, all you need to do is just go take their air brake endorsement test.
That is too cool.
And I mean, I love driving those things. They're amazing. And I actually own one, and it has the air horn and everything like your semi trucks would have. You literally feel like you're driving a tractor trailer, but instead you're a straight truck, because you don't have the pivot point for the fifth wheel to basically pull something around the corner. But they do. The nice thing is most of them have what's called articulating wheels, and so that's the nice thing is because you got the articulating wheel point in it, and that's what's really fun. I
That
really
one's
actually
from
enjoy
Texas
it.
too. Everything's bigger in Texas, guys. That's what I hear.
Oh boy, I got my one friend picking on me right now. My one friend actually joined us today on the Facebook page. He just texted me now. Hey, you busy? Oh, wait a second. I know you are because you're on the phone with Brittney now.
Oh, that's funny. That is such a nice trailer. Look at all the compartments on the side of this thing. Like, oh my God, $500,000.
Yeah, they're actually amazing.
But they've got to be solid. Like, just the structure of that thing. You can tell that thing's like solid.
Yeah, the one that I own right now, it's a 2020 Peterbilt, and when we bought the thing, we took the engine block out of it and put in a Caterpillar 880 because of using it for my sound and audio business and everything when we travel. I'm hauling the trailers with everything and all the band equipment and PA systems. So everybody likes that. And they're like, oh, I didn't know you can haul all that equipment and these things can pull that much power off the back of them. Trust me, a lot of those things have, like, they have really big engine blocks in them and everything. It's like, you look at the parts and it's like, I used to do all my own mechanical work on my vehicles, and it's like, now I get this thing, I'm like, oh, nope, I better find a truck stop that I can turn around, basically take this thing to get fixed because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I went to change a air filter on the truck and I could not find the filter.
That's so funny. Oh, look at that.
Yep.
The interior is beautiful.
So I had my dad laughing at me when I turned around and called him up and say, Dad, do you know where the filters are on these things? You're the one that got me into this stuff. And he couldn't even find it. He's like, just go to Love's. I'm like, yeah, that's where I love to go. Like, I don't, like, the only truck stop I prefer is Love's. I don't even go to anybody else. It's like, because I've had my fair shares with Flying J and Pilots where we've had a lot of trouble with them.
Look at that.
When I was driving for the race.
Sorry, full size fridge in this thing. Like, this is awesome.
Well, it's like taking your whole house on the road with you. And some of them, like, you can actually get the hookup where you can drop a dolly on the back of the tow hitch and basically start pulling a dolly with a fully loaded semi-trailer behind it.
Oh my God. Guys, this is
Like,
where it's
I
at.
have-
$500,000. Get out there for a few years, take some good paying loads, save up, and get your own Super C diesel coach motorhome.
When you're ready to retire, there you go.
Oh, that's so nice. So nice.
Yep. And I mean, I remember, like, you were talking about with the bullying and everything. And I mean, it's kind of sad because that product that they stole all of your content about, saying that you endorsed it and everything, it was, that cushion came out either last year or 2 years ago. And one of the local news stations where I live, they're called WNEP TV, or also known as News Lot 16 WNEP TV, which is out of Music, Pennsylvania. And they did what's called, every single Monday they do a test called Does It Really Work? And they test all kinds of products that is asked by the community on how good it is. And we did the test on it, and it failed majorly. I mean, we sat the egg down on it, and they say if you set an egg on it and set down on the cushion, the egg will not pop. That egg snapped. It did not hold up at all. I know a friend of mine actually has the cushion, and he told me it was just better for him to just take like 2 bed pillows and put behind his back or set on one inside his truck, because it really is not that good. And it's like, then all of a sudden you saw there's no information on that product at all anymore out on TV or anything. And now next thing you know, I'm hearing about it and they have all your content. I'm like, some of that content that they took was like 2 or 3 months ago when you turn around and posted all that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I wonder how long this has been going on.
And it's also making me wonder, like, everything that they were showing on there, I don't even think that's originally their product. So it's like, is this like literally a rip-off company? Because most of the footage that they were showing was the original footage when that product came out a year to 2 years ago. And now there's like, they have all these people saying that they're endorsing it. I'm thinking to myself, okay, how many people don't even know that their content has been stolen or anything, and somehow you found out about it, and it's like, were you the only one that knows that, hey, they took your content, and does none of these other people know about this?
That's what I wonder. Is
It's
the
like,
doctor, did
it's
they
like,
steal it from a doctor? You know, who are the other people on that video?
well, I did recognize the face of that doctor. I'm not really sure what his name is, but I
He
do
looks
recognize
familiar.
his face very well. And he's been in trouble before. And if I'm not also mistaken, that doctor has been actually on the Dr. Oz TV show numerous times. So that's a little scary there.
That's
and it's
crazy.
Like, in today's world, it's like you have all these companies that can easily take a product and rip people off just by changing something up a little bit or just a name on the product. And it's like, okay, now they have their own license. Like, we have like all these earpods out there. Like, Apple was the first one that came up with these earpods. Now it's like you have 27 different versions of the Apple AirPods, but they're not actually Apple ones. And the only reason why they can get away with it is at the bottom of the earpod, they added like a silver magnet down there to make it where they can turn around and use the product and say it's their product, but it was basically the knockoff version of Apple.
Wow.
And it's like, even like today, it was like we go all out around and you start going to your stores. Like, you got to be careful on what you're looking for, because like you can walk in the store and you pick up a set of headphones and it says, oh, they're Beats headphones. Well, you start looking through the paperwork and you go online and you start looking up the actual information on Beats. They don't match. And it's real hard because like so many people, they can use, like, it used to be back in the old days, you could not use somebody's logo. Now it's like, okay, if something isn't copyrighted for so long, I think it's every 10 or 15 years, if someone does not renew their license for a copyright issue, then now anybody has automatic right to that copyright or whatever. And I remember when I was back in school, they used to teach us how to make our own copyrights to put on our information that nobody can actually use it. And a friend of mine does this when he writes. I mean, he doesn't like write the big books and everything. He writes stuff and just shares it to friends of his. He has a special copyright that he does on the computer, and even though it's there on all this stuff, you can't really read what the little symbol is. I'm not sure how he did it or what software he's using. He won't even give me the information on it. And I'm thinking, if people come up with their own copyrights, it's way too hard for people to even take their stuff. Like, when I used to be in school, I used to write stories back in school on crime novels and stuff. And always on all my pages, I write my initials would be in the bottom corner, stamped. Basically, on like the computer, I had this little thing that I can turn around, like, make a stamp with my initials on it. And I lost the software because I don't use it anymore. And that way, people could not take any of my stuff because my initials were written there. And they always taught us, if you put, like, the copyright symbol is this letter C inside a small circle. And people would usually turn around, expand that a little bit. They'd turn around, put like the copyright symbol and their own little signature or something, and circle it, because now nobody can take access of their stuff. It's like, hey, this is my copyright. You can't have this. You can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I did remember the live feed that you were doing last night on the fan page that you mentioned. And the hardest part is, like, even with the FCC license, it's like there's too much information that they release to the public under this Right to Know Act that I wonder if they really know. Like, all that information can actually get people hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Absolutely.
I have my FCC license because I need it for my microphones for my business and everything. And I actually found out somebody got my phone number and everything from a different country and started calling me and saying, hey, I found you on this site, and this site. I'm like, you didn't find me on those sites because I don't use those sites. And this person gave me my address, my phone, all three of my phone numbers I have at the time. And then they all turned around and gave me my whole background history. Like, I'm thinking, okay, this isn't right. So I contacted my attorney through the FCC and started asking questions. And he said, if I were you, and he said the best thing to do is you can turn around and put in a form where you can have your business listed with all this stuff. And yeah, it's going to have your information on it, but there's a separate file that people won't usually see. So, like, your business is going to be listed at one address, even though it's not there. I'm like, can they actually legally do that? And he told me the answer is yes. You can have like, for me, I can have an address where I live at. Like, I'm living in Minersville, Pennsylvania, but yet I can have my business listed like, to say Minersville, PA for my business, even though I could be out in California, and people aren't really going to know.
Oh, wow.
They said the reason why so many businesses are doing that stuff with the licenses is because of everything that, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but you went through it and you're dealing with it. They said it leaves people on a goose chase because they don't really know what they're going through. It's like,
definitely,
most of your IT techs can explain it a lot better. It's like pinging your IP addresses. You're actually in one location, but when someone's like, oh, I got your IP address, I'm going to do all this stuff to you, they don't really know where you're at because it's showing that you're here, there, and it's not going to actually show your actual location unless you're that hacker and can get through all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's the problem we were having with this company when we tried to look into them, because it was showing up like they were from everywhere. It says Malaysia on Facebook, but when we dug deeper, it was popping up other countries. So it's like, where are these people?
And that's like one of the major things, because like they can have, like, even if you have satellite companies for your location, like I run several businesses as a family business. Like, our biggest business for my family is actually called Hollenbach Specialties LLC. And like, our address is actually listed in a different country, even though we're in the United States. And when we first started filling out the paperwork, the guy told us, for what all the businesses that we do, because we have a trucking agency that helps people move from different state to state or wherever they have to move to, and we run our own security firm and everything. Even with my DJ business, they said, because everybody's last name in the family is all the same, and it's a family-ran business, they said each one of these are separately business, but yet you're as a whole group on top of that. But just because of the last name, they said, so there's no confusion. They said you should turn around, make yourself an LLC with the full family name, but yet put your business somewhere that nobody's going to be able to find you. And he said, because the reason why, he said, if someone says, hey, I have an issue with this person, but not the rest of them, all they're going to do is find that business address. They're going to send all kinds of stuff to that address. But here's the thing is, the address that we have listed, all it's doing is just going to a desert. There's nothing there.
God, it's crazy.
So it's like, unless you actually have our actual business card that we hand out to you, you're not getting a real address.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like the
So
same with me. We have a fan mail address, but that's it, because unless you're a business contact, no.
Yeah. And honestly, I hate to tell people this anymore. I tell people all the time, if you are running a business, the best advice to do is get yourself a P.O. box and have everything sent there. Because the
Mm-hmm.
minute you show up to that P.O. box, whatever you do is on camera.
Oh,
They're going to
true.
see anything. So if someone comes up to you or whatever, you're on camera. And like we have a P.O. box for all of our businesses, and everybody's like, "Oh, your P.O. box is probably through the United States Mail Service," and we
Mm-hmm.
just automatically tell them yes. But honestly, it's not through the mail service. We actually have our P.O. box listed, and it's at the UPS stores, which could be accessed 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the mail agencies shut their offices down at a certain time, so we can't get into our box.
Exactly. See, that's what I do. Get you an after hours business holders key. It's like $50, varies,
hmm
and you can get in 24/7 to get your mail or small packages if they fit in the box.
Yeah, or you just cheat like I do and just have it delivered to your fire hall. I think my poor fire chief hates when I do that one. I walk
Funny.
in every morning. Oh, Hollenbach, they got another package here for you. He goes, why do they keep coming here? Oh, we were having issues, so this was just the best safety. It's like, who's going to show up and say, oh, it's just a fire hall, I don't want to mess with them. They got bigger stuff than we do. He goes, what? He goes, that's the smart way of doing it. And I said, well, and I actually told my fire chief, I said, well, sir, I said, I'm just going to be honest with you. I said, most of the stuff that we are ordering is actually being used by other fire halls. So I said it was easier for us to ship it to the fire hall here.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's going to an actual fire hall, and not just some big garage out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And I said, saving them, because they're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. It belongs to this fire company. But yeah, we're picking it up here, and it's actually going to a different company. He said that was the best idea you can ever come up with. So he says, we have cameras all the way around the property. You open up the door and nobody's in there. It sets off a text message to every one of our firefighters, so somebody knows, hey, at this time, an alarm was tripped, this door was open. And then if everybody's like, well, we weren't there, something's missing from the fire hall, that shouldn't be, we can all now go back to on our cell phone, access the camera, and see what really happened.
Right.
So it's one of the best things that could save us. And it's like, I even tell a lot of truck drivers, because running the security firm, I found out a lot of people were having the issues. Truck drivers were going out on the road, and they had people that they'd be stalking their houses, casing out places. And when they realized that these people weren't home, they're going in and robbing them.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the best thing is they have so many security camera systems out there today where if you're not home, you can have a mobile app on your cell phone. And it was every time that camera gets tripped or something, whether it's on motion sense or whatever, it's going to let you know, hey, something's going on at your property. And if you're not there, you now have easy access to around know what's going on. Some of the camera systems now, you can hit a button on your phone and talk to the person like you or me are right now, and you're not even close to that person. And most of the time, it does scare them away. Like my neighbor has one, and every once in a while, like her dogs and cats like to turn out fight with each other. So she won't even get a notification. She'll just go on her phone and look at it, and she'll just start yelling at the dog. And I hear the dog barking. I'm like, well, the building is so quiet. Why is the dog barking? And I just hear her talking on the camera. I'm like, oh, okay.
That is awesome. Yeah, or you see somebody at your door or whatever, and you cue them up and go, you know what? Hello, you are on with you are on the air.
It's
right
amazing
now.
because
hello, everybody's gonna see your face. See if they run.
Like the Ring doorbell is the one that started out with that. Like they had the security camera where you can talk back and forth to everybody at your door. You would know when your packages were showing up and everything. And it's like, well, all these other camera agencies are like, well, okay, if Ring's getting this and they're making mad money off it, what can we do to turn around and do the same exact thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, well, this is really how stupid people are, because the very first camera system that was ever doing this was ADT. They monitored everything for you. They put the cameras up. They had access to everything. And someone entered your property, they pick up the phone, they call you and say, hey, this is going on. Is this you? Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if you turn around and did not answer the phone or said, I'm not home, or I'm home, but I need help, they automatically dispatched all first responders to you. Fire department, EMS, even the police. They didn't care what the issue was. They were automatically going out there for you. And it's like now you have all these different camera systems. Like they're all doing the camera side, but they don't have the rest of the security side of it.
Definitely.
I'm like, well, it's nice. It's nice and it helps out.
It does. And one thing I would like to see that them do is have some sort of panic button option, especially for people who have been threatened or almost like a life alert. You see those things with elderly people.
There is actually there are companies out there that have that. And I mean, the place that I used to live at before I moved where I'm at now, the security system actually had it where we can activate the security system from a key fob in our pocket, like you would like your cars that have the key fobs. You can turn around, lock the doors, unlock it, disarm the security system and everything. And it had a red button that said P on it. Well, if I were to walk up on my porch and somebody comes up behind me and they're threatening me and everything, all I have to do is just reach in my pocket and hit that P on the switch, and it's going to set off my whole security alarm, and within 2 minutes, the cops are there.
Oh, wow. See, that would be a lifesaver because, I mean, there's stories. I'm going to put it up on the screen here so everybody can see it, but there have been YouTubers that have had home invasions. Here's Gavin from Rooster Teeth and the Slow-Mo guys, him and his girlfriends, they had it says here, an obsessive fan plotting to kill YouTuber shot dead by cops. Like, it was crazy. Like, there's nothing stopping somebody from tracking you down, kicking your door down, and then while you're waiting for a security company to call and see if you're all right, they're already on you. So to have a panic button like that to just hit it is everything.
And I'm not sure how easy I can say this, but I mean, I know he's had people mention him on YouTube and everything. He's like one of the biggest YouTubers out there right now, making a lot of money, and a lot of people did call him out because they're like, everything he does is fake. Well, what people don't understand is it's YouTube, and what he's doing, all the people on his channel all work for him. They're all actors. So it's like everything that they're doing, they're showing people like how bounty hunting truly works for some of the issues that the bounty hunters go through, your law enforcement on what they go through and everything. Like, it's all staged. And even though he lives in California,
I didn't go to
he also
school
has a separate area back in the state of Oregon where they do all the filming and everything just around that area. And the law enforcement agencies and everybody works with him so that they know what he's going on and doing. And that everybody usually knows him as Patty Mayo on YouTube.
Yep.
And the stuff that he does, yes, it is fake, don't get me wrong, and there is numerous ways to figure that out. But what he's doing is he's showing people it's not just for him to get the money or the publicity. He's also trying to help people out in a hidden message way that they weren't trying to get the message out to be notified by the public. It was there to notify people that this is what can go on in every single day of life for all these different jobs, but you can also see this at your home life, and this is how to deal with it if you don't have a fast response from your local emergency services. Like, I mean, unfortunately, some of these places, if you're out in the country, your nearest law enforcement agency or something could be 2-3 hours away. What are you going to do yourself? Well, if you don't believe in the Second Amendment, you don't carry a firearm or anything, you're basically screwed unless you know hand-to-hand combat. I tell everybody, if you're, especially the women at home, if you are always going to be in a situation where you're by yourself or a truck driver or anything, if you get the time off the road to sit down and try to go out and get into a self-defense class, because it's going to come in a lot handy. And some of those self-defense classes will actually teach you how to disarm somebody with a weapon when they come at you.
Yes, definitely.
Like, some of the classes that I took myself, I have all the training that a law enforcement officer has in hand-to-hand combat and everything, even the military. The only reason why I don't have the certifications is because I could not pass the firearm class that they teach you. I could do everything up to the part of where we had to go into a room with strobe lights flashing in the dark. that was where my issue hit me, because I could not see the target that was literally 2 feet in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid of hurting somebody else or myself or my class. I had my instructor standing behind me the whole entire time. He was yelling at me, telling me to take the shot, do this, do that. All I did was drop the mag out of my firearm, cleared my chamber, and put my gun right in my holster. I knew right to my left-hand side was the emergency stop button, and I hit the emergency stop button.
Mm-hmm.
And he started chewing me up one side and down the other one. And, I mean, this is where we get into the bullying. Like, this guy, I mean, he was a bully. And the day we went into the class, we all got warned by one of the students that was there, who just graduated, said, I pity everybody because this instructor is not the best one.
Mm-hmm.
And after that day, I didn't even know that we had somebody shadowing us that was acting like they were in the class, but was actually one of the big heads of the school. And he was doing what was called a job shadow to see how this instructor was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when he started chewing me up one side down the other one, I pinned him up against the wall. I said, you ever put me in a situation where I'm not sure what's best for me or anybody around me, I tell you, I can't see what's going on. I said, I'm not going to be nice here. I'm going to turn the firearm right at you and take the shot. Mm-hmm. I said, basically that's what you were exactly telling me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I said that one, that other guy stepped up and said, everybody can have a seat. And he says, I want to see you in my office right now. And we found out he got fired the next day.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I'm thinking, and they offered me my license and everything because I was taking my Act 120 and my 235 certification, which the 235 is what I need to federally carry on the job
mm-hmm.
for what I do. And I said to myself, I don't want to take the 235 because I said, if I ever end up back in that situation again out there on the streets, am I going to be able to turn around and protect somebody else if it comes to their own life? I said, I'm not worried about myself. I said, I'm worried about somebody else. I said, yes, I have my Act 120 and certification and that side, but I said, I'm not really sure if I should take the 235 license, because if I get out there and there's a bunch of emergency vehicles and I have to turn around and take the shot to protect someone's life,
mm-hmm.
am I able to actually take that shot? I said, as of right now, sir, I don't think I can, so I didn't take the license.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually put it in the newspaper and everything that I was surprised when it hit the paper. It said, student taking class was unsure of himself and denied his qualifications even though he passed.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, wow, I could not believe that they actually put that in the newspaper. And I had a lot of people question me on it and everything. They're like, yo,
mm-hmm.
you can do all this stuff, but yet why are you not sure of this one? Mm-hmm. And trust took me over 6 months to try to keep telling people what was going on. And finally, everybody understood. I'm not actually going to be going back to retake the class, because my eyesight has gotten better, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like with my brother running the security side of our business and doing private security for everybody, he does even personal security work. Somebody like in your situation, they're like, hey, I need help. And he'll have to go out. He has a crew that follows these people around, and he stages them just like as if it was a federal vehicle escort. Like there'd be somebody going up ahead of you, somebody directly in front of you, one person directly behind you. One of our crew members will actually be in the vehicle with you that you're traveling in or driving you around. And then we have another vehicle that's always like 10 minutes behind us on purpose. But if someone's coming up that we know that we have to watch out for, we know what's going on. Well, come to find out, I found out yesterday that my brother is actually in federal law enforcement and never decided to tell me.
Oh my God, wow.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I said, I knew you're doing the security side of the business, but I didn't know you're doing anything else. Like, I knew for the longest time my brother was working for the railroad company. I never was told that he left this job.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, that's nice to know you. You don't even tell the person that all the businesses are in his name that you left that job and you're now doing this. He goes,
yeah, no kidding. It's like,
I lost
you could have said something.
Yeah, he goes to me, he goes, I lost your phone number, so I couldn't get a hold of you. I'm like, you know you have me on Facebook. I didn't think of that one. I'm like, oh, boy.
It's like, it's your family. You should have said something. Hello. How often does that happen, though? It happens to a lot of us, you know.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, even with the bullying, like, my parents always taught me to stand up for somebody. My dad told me my dad is what they call the original baby boomers. I don't know why, because I'm not sure what the baby boomer year was, because he was born in 1952. And he's one of those ones where he told us, I don't care what it takes. If you have to stand up for somebody, you stand up for somebody. I mean, back in high school, in middle school and school, I got in major trouble. I got suspended a lot because I was standing up for people that everybody would laugh at them. Like, I watched a kid literally beat a teacher up, and it took 22 teachers to try to pull this kid off. I walked right over to this kid, and I would tell everybody, do not do what I did because it's illegal. I walked right over to the kid, and I had steel-toe boots on. I just kicked him right in the face. The kid looked up at me, left the teacher alone, and came after me, to where, thank God, I had my self-defense courses. I turned around easily to the kid in a sleeper hold and pulled him out.
Oh, wow.
And the principal looked right at me and said, you're in my office. Now, I already knew the minute I was walking to his office that my dad was on the phone, because everybody in the school knew my dad very well.
Mm-hmm.
The principal knew me ever since I was a little kid. And I'm thinking, oh, he's calling my dad. My dad walks in, and he's sitting there in the office. When I walked in, and he goes, what did you do this time? I said, you already probably know that's the reason why you're here. He goes, I'm not worried about it, but they got to figure out what's going on. So when I walked into the principal's office with my dad, and I was the only student in the school that could get away with calling all the staff by their first name. Everybody else had to use last names, not me. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the principal. I said, JJ, how big of trouble am I in? He goes, you're not in any trouble, but I have a funny feeling your dad's the one teaching you these classes. And my dad goes, it's not me, it's his cousin, who is a state trooper. And the poor looked at us and goes, we're screwed. They had no clue that our school resource cop was the one teaching me everything I knew.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, they didn't even know that I was related to the school resource cop. Which,
crazy.
Unfortunately, he's now retired. He's now retired and enjoying his own life. And it's like, it was just everything that I've learned over the years. I'm like, I'll admit, when I first started growing up in elementary school, I was the bully. And then it just took one person bigger and better than me that stood up against me that changed my life. Mm-hmm. And then my stepfather started drinking, became a major alcoholic, and I started, because I was the oldest kid that he adopted, I got all the abuse and everything. And I'm like, I'm not going to stand up for this. Mm-hmm. And it pushed me over the edge the one night when I'm in my bedroom. I'm about ready to go to bed because I had to be up early in the morning to go deliver a newspaper route. And I hear my mom scream, don't you ever do that again. Well, I hear this loud bang, and I knew right away what was going on. As soon as I went down the steps, I knew right away what was going on. He started attacking my mom. I couldn't get him off my mom. My brother, who was a lot stronger than me, he couldn't even get my dad off my mom. Well, the next thing I did was, all we had was a baseball bat, and I ended up using that one because it was the only thing to use, because they say when people are drinking, they get a lot stronger than what they actually physically are. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I always thought that was wrong. So I'm like, no, it would be the certain drugs that they take, not the alcohol, because alcohol should calm you down and other stuff. Mm-hmm. But for some people, it likes to work the opposite direction. And I'm thinking, okay, well, we finally got him off my mom, and he started fighting with me. And I had no clue what was going on until after the fact, when they told me that it took 12 cops and 4 tasers to get me off my own father so that they can transport him to the hospital. And they said they didn't know what happened because when they were talking to me, it's like I was looking right straight through these people like they weren't even standing there.
I was going to say, do you remember the details of any of it? Or was it just like it kicked in and you did it?
Like, the only thing I remember is what everybody was telling me. Like, literally, if we didn't have camera footage in our house, I would have not known anything. Like, you even looked at the camera footage, it completely looked like it was somebody else, not even me.
That's crazy.
I'm only 132 pounds, and it looked like my dad was fighting a sumo wrestler.
Oh, wow.
And
in law
They said,
enforcement,
like,
that's common to have like a blackout, and that's why the training is so vital, because when something
yeah,
happens, you just duty calls, your instincts kick in, you take care of it. And half the time you don't even
and they think
remember what happened, and then you're terrified, right? Because it's like,
and they think
what
that's
just
what
happened?
happened with me is because I was always taught to stand up for the women. Don't worry about the guys; they can handle themselves.
Mm-hmm.
When a guy goes after a woman, that's where you want to step in. And they think because of all the abuse that I took, because I went through counseling and everything. And they said it was because of all the abuse that I took from him over the years. And when he finally attacked my mother, that's what pushed me over the edge. And they said everything that happened to me came out right there on the spot. And I just leashed it all on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. And then, like, I was doing pretty well. I moved out on my own finally because it was just safer. And then, unfortunately, last year I got in big trouble because I was hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out drinking and everything. We decided to turn around and have a nice airsoft fight in my apartment, which don't ask me why we were that stupid at 3 o'clock in the morning. And unfortunately, stuff went the wrong way. And I had an animal, and the animal got hurt, supposedly, but yeah, I'm finding out now because I contacted the lawyer that was in charge of my case and got my case reopened, and they're finding out that there's major issues that were presented to the courts and everything. I was found guilty. I even pleaded guilty to it because I remembered some of the stuff but not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pleaded guilty. Well, now I was given information personally by a neighbor of mine that turns out what I got charged for was a complete joke, so I had to turn around and have the case re-looked into.
Mm.
I'm like, it's sad because it's like, it's always the ones that we hit the point where it's like, okay, everything's going good for us. We're up there. We're like, we know what we're doing. We're like, there's nothing that can stop me. And then there's that brick wall that knocks you all the way back down to rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, yes, that is where I'm at right now. I'm at the rock bottom, trying to get my way back up to where I was. And it's not easy. Like, they were able to drop the one charge automatically because they realized a lot of stuff that I was saying in the courts, there's no way it could be possibly true.
Mm-hmm.
So where they hit me at was they got me under animal cruelty, don't get me wrong. And it's the most stupidest way of doing it because I don't have my very own personal vehicle or $5,000 at 3 o'clock in the morning to take this animal to an animal shelter to get medical treatment that it needed.
Mm-hmm.
So they got me just because I didn't have those two things. They dropped all the other charges and just kept that one.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, can they do this? And they're like, oh, it's a county law where if you have any house pet, you have to have a vehicle plus the money in your income to be able to get that animal treated if it needs it. Otherwise, we can charge it with whatever we want.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, well, that's just a 100% corrupt system.
Mm-hmm.
So then I finally got the law book yesterday on what all the laws are in the county. That one's not even listed in the book. So I'm like,
oh, wow.
and then I go back and start looking at this book, and all the laws in our book are back from the early 1800s and everything when they were running the town as a coal mine only. Like the town was started out with just as a mining town. That's the reason why they call it Minersville, because like every 4 streets was nothing but a coal mine entrance to go into the mines, which unfortunately now has all been closed off and they built houses on top of everything. And it's like they're still like several centuries later running the laws from back in those days.
Yeah, me and Jordan did a whole piece on video years ago about that, where we were reading all of these laws that are still on the books today that have nothing to do with it's nothing that would be practical today. It could be applied, it could be charged to somebody today, but the problem is they don't get rid of these old laws.
And it's so hard because it's like, okay, we got all these laws that were in effect, and then there's something new that came into place that said, okay, that one's no longer going to be used. But yet they still have them out there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There should
And
be a law that whenever a new law is created, they should delete at least one or two old laws. Like, I think Jesse Ventura, old ex-governor of Minnesota, suggested that, and I've always loved that idea.
yeah, and I'm like, that's the best thing because like we even look like not just at each individual state, we look at federally altogether.
Mm-hmm.
If people were to get the Constitution out, they've added so many new stuff to that Constitution that overrode the order of laws and everything from when we first started out as a country to what we are now. And it's like, okay, they're like, well, we can get you under this, this, and this, but yet there's so many new stuff in place that says they can no longer do that to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so how many laws are out there that we don't even know exist?
I know somebody needs to look into it seriously, but I hate to cut you off, but it is after the 2-hour mark, and I know we've got to wrap this up, and I've got to get some sleep. Oh my God. I got up at 6 a.m. this morning. Actually, it may have even been before 6. Jordan was so
I've
sweet.
been up
I kept
since
sleeping past my
3:30.
alarm. See, you even beat me. You're going to be going to bed soon, hopefully, too.
Actually, I don't even get a chance to go to bed soon, so I'm on call.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
it's like, usually by the time I want to fall asleep, that pager decides, oh, nope, you're not sleeping.
It's like the second you go out, there goes the alarm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, it
What?
happened to me earlier. I tried, like, right before you went live, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a 2-hour nap. I'm like, okay, not an issue. I slept through my alarm, and then when I wake up, I look at my watch, and it's like, Brittney's live. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm like, 7 p.m. Central Time is an hour behind me.
Oh,
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, it's only 7:30 at time, so how is she live too early? Way too early. I'm like, oops, I missed something.
It's all good. I'm glad I got to talk to you. It's always good to talk to you.
Hey, you too, and always enjoy the content and the footage and everything, and just be safe out there.
Same to you. Have a great night.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm going to put this thing on silent over here. Let's see. Let's put it on sleep. If it'll go through. Anyway, guys, it is after the 2-hour mark. So this has been good. This is only our first time with all of this technology, the ticker, me getting used to the echo. Jake is behaving. Anyway, guys, it's been fun. I hope we can get better at this and be able to take more callers over time and hear different stories. That's what fascinates me the most, is hearing from you guys, hearing from your stories. You know, everybody is just like Barry with everything he experienced in that abusive situation. I mean, how many of us have been in situations like that? Like, all of us have a story. We are so unique, and we can learn so much from each other. And when it comes to overcoming things, like hitting that brick wall, like Barry was talking about, I've been there. You know, I lost everything. And today, when I drive the BMW and I have haters get mad, oh, you must have been born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Oh, God, you have no idea. Like, I started from rock bottom without $1 even to be able to buy off the dollar menu at McDonald's. Like, that was my last straw. I remember I was in that old beat up pickup truck and late one night coming home, and I was so tired. And I just remember like tears in my eyes because I was just so stressed. I had had so much that I had been through, so many abusive situations in my life. And all I wanted was a burger, just something, you know. And here I was in the vehicle looking around through the light of the street lights there. Almost at Walmart. It was across from Walmart. McDonald's. And I was scrounging for every penny, every nickel, every dime I could find just to try to get a burger. Like, I've been there. That was my moment. That was my defining moment that changed me. And I said, I don't want to live like this anymore. whatever it takes, I'm going to figure out how to get out of this and how to help others. And ever since, I've been focused on learning, because the more you learn, the more you earn. And that is so true. You're taking a book. I've got a book over there by Sam Walton, Made in America. That is so invaluable. You're taking a human being. You're taking somebody's whole life, everything that took them an entire life to learn, and you're reading it in one book. I mean, I think I paid like $8.99 or something for it used. Like, I buy them in good condition but pre-owned on Amazon. You know, $8.99, and I learned what took a guy a whole lifetime to learn. You know, and we can do that too. It's just like, it's like that movie, The Matrix, if you guys remember that. I was watching it the other night, having kind of a throwback moment, right? And I'm watching how, you know, he's in the Matrix and they're downloading all these files. And in an instant, he's like, whoa, hit me again. You know, and he's downloading like how to fly a plane and how to fight and all these different martial arts and everything. And in a way, we have that access to us. We can download things. You read 10 books talking about everything that a person's learned in their life. You've experienced 10 lifetimes of knowledge, and that just grows. So anyway, that's enough for now. I could ramble forever. I love you guys. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Let me go ahead and cue in the cow music. I don't know why this is called Cows. I mean, I do, because he sings about cows. But it's a catchy tune, and I really like it. Anyway, I love you guys. Tomorrow night, we will be live on Trucker Talk Live. Those will go live on a whole nother set of platforms. Echo. Have a great night, guys.
You've been listening to the Brittney Richardson Podcast. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to follow us on social media to catch all of our live shows. Be safe out there and have a great night.